CMPRadio.net. It's the station.
CMPRadio.net, man. It's your boy, Uncle P, man, and we are live from the Cultivating Mature Positivity studio. And listen, man, we have a great show for you today, man. We have a whole list of people that are going to come through the radio station and talk about what they're doing in the city of Chester. Listen. I want you to share this live one good time, right? Share it. Let your friends know, right? Because we have the mayor, John Linder. How you feeling, John? How you feeling, brother? Man, what's going on? Hey, man, put y'all stuff on your. What's up, man? Man, oh man. How you feeling, John? How you feeling, brother?
I'm good, my brother. How you doing?
It's good to see you, man. It's good to be in your presence as usual. You know, whenever you're around, you just bring good energy. You know, I appreciate you, man. Make sure we talking into that microphone, right? Get the microphones close to y'all, man. You know. Yeah.
Right there.
There it is.
All right.
Now I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Man, what is going on with Riverside Futures? Because that's your nonprofit organization. I need you to start at the bottom, and we're gonna work our way up. We got 20 minutes because we got a load of people in here.
Yes.
But we want to talk about Riverside Future and the program that you have right now in the Bennett, man. So let's get to talking about that.
Okay. Riverside Futures is a nonprofit that I developed actually in 2020. I think 2020 was when we actually started to go into movement. But all the time when I was in the mayor's office, I kept saying I want to do something that allows me the independence to work with the community, and I don't need a vote. Only need one vote. That's mine. So I wanted to do things to enhance whatever else is going on in the community. So I thought my nonprofit could be, I'm not out to take anything from anybody, but look to see where we need to put our emphasis, who's doing what, how can I help, and also how can I also help lead in a direction that people may need to go in or seem to be missing. So I could provide some of the missing ingredients based on my experience being mayor. So I developed Riverside Futures, a nonprofit. We're located down on 291, 3201 West 2nd Street. And what we do is we help to provide information and training for education enhancement. I'm a professor and educator by trade. That's what I do. And so we bring those skills to the forum and help to work with schools, do educational consultantship. Also, we work with reentry, the reentry community, as you know that. So our belief is that if we don't capitalize off of those people that have ideas and all, we can't make our community whole. So we need to make sure we rebuild the community, but also we rebuild the person who comes back into this community through mentorship, guidance, counseling, and so forth. So we also do that. We also work with the people in the liquid petroleum industry. Our community is a pipeline community, and there's a lot of controversy about the environmental racism that has gone on here for so long. And the thing that we need to do is we need to fully educate our community about not only the environment, but what are some of the answers. And fortunately, I happen to be with some people who are on my board who have a lot of knowledge of what's going on in the liquid natural gas industry, liquid petroleum industry. Now, let me just say that because it's going to spark a lot of people say, oh, what's going on there? First of all, I went up to the area where they produce liquid natural gas. I heard all of this stuff about the environment, spills, a whole lot of things that were being said. And I wanted to make sure that if I went down this road, that I could speak from experience. Our community, we lived on top of these gas lines and pipes for 100 years. So we're not strangers to it. The trend now is, first of all, Pennsylvania has this whole composite of liquid natural gas and all. We're trying to trend away from any liquid petroleums or fossil fuels. That transition is going to be another 50 to 100 years. We need to have some alternatives and that are safe, number one, and also we need to understand where those transitions are. Right now, everything is pointed to southeast Pennsylvania. That industry up there in Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania, that industry is shipping liquid natural gas all over the world.
All over the world.
So listen to this rationale. We have liquid natural gas here produced in Pennsylvania, shipped 2,000 miles down to the Gulf Coast, then shipped by pipeline all the way down to the Gulf Coast. From the Gulf Coast, it's shipped out to the world.
Right.
And this is just an example of why we need to educate. And some of that liquid natural gas goes to Russia, to Europe, everywhere. And guess what happens? We have states here that are buying gas from Russia that comes from Pennsylvania, or buying gas from Europe that comes from Pennsylvania, because we have been fighting so vigorously over the pipelines. And I know this is not the show, but we can do a show on this, and I can have some other people who have expertise in the area talk about that. But I'm just saying, for me, I'm not a mathematician, but I did go to math class.
Right,
and
right.
I went and I said, man, that doesn't make sense. And we're talking about patriots and this and that. We're actually buying liquid natural gas and gas from our nemesis, Vladimir Putin, and we don't even have jobs down here in Pennsylvania, in Chester, in this corridor. And we could get jobs, and if we understood how to do that. So I'm committed to looking at that and making sure that as these jobs come down here and this thing comes available, one, it's safe for our community, and two, that our community starts to take advantage of it. And that's kind of what got me into the trades piece. So Riverside Futures works with Delaware County Community College, excuse me, the Swarthmore Rotary, and the Chester Housing Authority. We formed a program to get students to be able to participate in the carpentry program. Now, just to say this, Delaware County Community College has programs not just in carpentry, but they have electrical, they have plumbing, they have welding, they have HVAC, they have, I say electrical, I always think about it, but I don't know if I said it. Electrical, HVAC, and machine design, as well as automotive. Now, machine design is they learn how to use printers, to make three-dimensional models of machine parts and all of that stuff. So, as well as you can get a certificate in hazmat and safety. And one program I always forget that they have now, they have a CDL program, which I'm working on with them and saying, hey, we can get that down here and into Chester. And so it's the full gamut of the trades, which is what we need. And so again, those are the partners in this particular collaboration: Chester Housing Authority, Delaware County Community College, and the Swarthmore Rotary. And I shouldn't mention the Chester Rotary. They have been a part of the support mechanism for this project, along with Swarthmore Rotary. But Swarthmore Rotary was the main group that started talking about coming down here. So that's where our project is today. And it's about about a year and a half program. You do sign up as a Delaware County Community College student. You will get a certification in carpentry. We have courses some of the courses are started down here in the Bennett home. And let me say this because these are some things, I hope you don't mind, I'm just going on.
Yeah, go ahead. This is your thing,
yeah.
Right?
And let me say this about this, because as a homie here, as born and raised here in Chester, I understand controversy and territoriality and all of that. First of all, I love the boys on the street. I grew up on the street myself, man, and we had our hood, and this was our block, and that's our block, man. But don't nobody own this city but us, the people. And so we, got to stop the territoriality piece. A lot of people don't know that the Bennett homes is being part of it's being torn down. It's going to be renovated. So I guess about 85% of the people who used to live there are moved out now at this point. So there's nobody up there. So the Housing Authority is involved in this project because through those renovations, they're going to allow people who come through the program to participate as interns in helping to rebuild the Bennett homes. Now here's, in my head, I'm saying, man, this is a chance for us in the city to learn trades, to learn a trade, carpentry, and a chance to help build our city back. So people who don't have experience, once they finish the carpentry program, they do an internship up there. The next place they go to work with somebody, they say, well, what have you done? You say, go down there on 9th Street and call his way, look over there, you can see part of my work. So that's their resume.
Right.
So that excited me when I thought about it in that context. I said, man. So they came and asked me, said, would you in Riverside Futures help us with this program? I said, absolutely. Now, those people don't know, I'm a 30-year retired professor. In fact, I'm a professor emeritus from Delaware County Community College. That's my tag. I'm an emeritus.
Yeah, emeritus.
Yeah,
Rock with that.
Professor emeritus.
You earned it.
Yeah, okay. All right.
You put the work in.
Yeah, I just want to get the formal title. That's where I am now. But I appreciated the opportunity to do this because it's really important that our citizens get an opportunity or get opportunities. And here's another thing. We in this community don't do things the traditional way. You graduate from school, you get some scholarships, or you do what, you go to college, that's it. We have a lot of stops on the way. Now, one of the things we need to make sure we do is remember what failed so that we can know how to move towards success. So this is an opportunity, and I expressed this to the college. I've done that since I worked there, that you've been in our community, and we didn't do it correctly the first time based on the standards that you set up. So you didn't get the numbers that you wanted. You can't leave us because we're not going to get the numbers at first that we want, but we have to be consistent. If we expect consistency and we want to teach consistency, then that's what we have to be, the college. I'm speaking at the college. Right. So they said, well, okay, Mayor Linder, we're going to come down there and we are going to stick with you. So let me say this about the program. First of all, the program's free. And many people, excuse me, that I talk with have had some college experience and taken out loans and all, and they've gotten into trouble with financial aid and all. This won't, that won't stop you from participating in this program, but you're gonna have to fill out some papers. And here's the thing, just let us know up front what the deal is, and we can work around that. And so that's all we wanna know, no surprises. So the college has some money for some programs, and they, in fact, the money that they got was allocated by a particular individual and his family, and they wanted it to go to the trades program. So it's specifically there for that. So you sign up, you will be put into the carpentry program.
So real quick, Mayor, you're saying you sign up, you got to fill out the FAFSA paperwork, but it's not a loan, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I thank you for coming back to that. This program's free. Now,
The program is free.
The program's free.
Now,
Free.
Not
free.
Yeah.
Not free, got to pay for it later.
No.
Not free, got to take out a loan.
No.
I don't have to take out no loan.
No.
I can get everything that I need to fix. So when I'm in the Bennett and I'm fixing up a home, what certifications do I receive throughout this process?
Well, the key piece is that you're going to be in the carpentry program.
Okay.
That when you get to your internship, not only is the program free to you, but when you get to your internship, you're going to be getting paid.
Stop.
Yeah, okay.
I go into the program. I sign up for the program, right? I have no
Free.
experience in carpentry.
Right.
I sign up for the program. I get into the program. I become an intern.
That's right.
How many months am I an intern for?
I'm not sure the answer to that,
Right.
but here's the rate of progression. You go into the program. The first course that you're going to take is basic technical skills. That's about 8 to 12 week course. The next course you're going to take is workplace safety, and that's these are 3 credit courses, 3 credit and 2 credit courses. Then you take blueprint reading, and which is the 3rd course. And from the 3rd course, then you go into carpentry fundamentals, which is the 4th course. So that's about the students who went into the first group, or what we call a cohort. The first group that went in, they started in September, took their first course, and they just finished their 3rd course, and just started last night in the carpentry skills course. So pretty soon they'll be ready for their internship. Could be, this is probably maybe September. They should be ready for their internship. So about 6 months is about the timeline. From the time you start, you'll be going into your carpentry course, and I'm not sure the exact time or date of placement, but again, that also depends upon the Bennett homes. And now, that's not the only internship that will be available, but that will be the one that will be most readily available.
Right.
So I mean, you can transition right into that. So yeah, so it's free. Now, I always tell people this too. I said it's free, but everything that's free is not free. Now here you go.
Yeah, you see me looking at you.
Yeah.
Right.
What you have to pay is time allocation and personal commitment. P, to get something, sometimes you gotta let something else go.
You do. I call it sacrifice.
You have to sacrifice.
Right.
Well, it's not only a sacrifice, that's the key piece, be ready to sacrifice, but it's really an investment.
Absolutely.
And yourself.
Absolutely.
If you wanna go outside, you gotta get up and start walking. You can't get there any other way. So if we want to be better, we got to get up and start walking, and our talking has to be with people who are our level and above. Now, a lot of us go to talk to our expert friends, and we love them, but a lot of times they don't know what's needed for me to do what I need to do. And they tell me things in love, but there's an absence of information.
Absolutely.
I have a brochure here. You see what I did when I started talking about it. I've been teaching at the college for 30 years and I know about this program, but when you asked me about the internship, I started looking at the information.
Right.
See, if we have hands, we use our hands. Yeah. So you can't get into situations where you feel that you have arrived and you don't need any help. You ask the people who can help you.
Right.
So that's what I say. One, it's going to cost you time.
Right.
Two, it's going to cost you commitment.
Right.
Commit to it.
Right.
Three, you got to tell other people that you are serious about this and that you don't have time for them right now.
Absolutely.
Okay? So
That's hard.
Yeah, it
That's
is
hard. And in this area where we come from, right, you know, our friends, our family takes precedence.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, so if you have a young man, he's in the program and he can't make it a couple of days because he has to watch his child. Is there a program inside of your program to help him with daycare or babysitting or different things like that? Because we understand who we are as men, right?
Yes.
And a lot of us don't get a job because it allows our women to have jobs.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Not all of us, right? But some of us, right? So if he has his kids while his wife or his girlfriend is working, like is there a space for him to drop his kid off? Is there a daycare or something like that?
We need to know what they need. And again, this program is for men and women. It's not just for men. So men and women, we had 4 women sign up. One of them got pregnant and had to drop out. Well, she was pregnant, but she actually moved. So she was going to come back, but she moved out of state. But that's why the Rotary is involved, because we take care of some of those ancillary things. The Rotary buys the toolkit. You get a toolkit free. And if you need transportation, see, getting to the Bennett homes is no problem for most people here in Chester, but getting out to the community college, if we know you don't have transportation, we can help with the transportation. If we know you don't have daycare or child care, we can help with that. But we got to start on that. And as soon as you think you're going to participate in this program and sign up, we need to know that from the door, and then we can help with gathering those resources. And again, getting you back and forth to the community college, there's a bus that goes out there, but also there's Uber that goes out there. Right. You know, we Uber and Lyft. Right. You know, so we've got other people with resources that's going to help with that.
So these resources that you're talking about are available, right?
Yes.
To help young men get a carpentry skill, get a carpentry trade.
Yes.
It's a lot of money in carpentry, right?
Absolutely.
Can they get into the carpentry union after this?
Absolutely. In fact, I have now a personal relationship with all of the presidents of the union, because I'm working on a project with them to help bring the trades back to Chester Upland School District. A lot of people don't know about that, but I mean, it's no secret. We're trying to get them in, but I've been sitting with the presidents of the unions for the last 3 or 4 months in different meetings, talking about how to help these young men acquire the certification, young men and women acquire the certification and get in the union. But we've got help now, and I know a lot of people say, well, why, how come we didn't know it? See, one of the things I like to do is get it in place to make sure I can come out here and sit at this mic and say it's free. If I say it's free, I don't want to go back and say, Mary, you told me it's free, and here's what happened. No, but we have the local unions are aware of the program. They're helpful. They're going to be helpful and resourceful from now and into the future, and it's really a great opportunity. So you can get in the program. You can learn a trade. This is one. You can start a career. That's 2. or you can become your own entrepreneur. You can start business. And at the end of this program, then we're going to also have courses that will help people start their own business if they want to, P. And we're going to connect with some banks so that we can put them in that pipeline and get them ready. And you don't have to work for somebody else. And that's the goal, really, as from an entrepreneurial community perspective, is try to get people not just off of a state of dependency and not to a point of independency. That's nice. But community-wise, I'm looking at it as interdependency. You can partner with 5 people you know. You see, you might be engaged in another business enterprise with 5 people.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
So 5 people with 5 different sets of skills.
Right.
One of you take the electrical program, one of you take the carpentry program, one of you take the plumbing program, one of you take the
So all of those programs are wrapped up into this program?
No,
Okay.
the college has them available.
They do.
And if this program is successful, we can get those others. So you get 5 partners, and now you liberated 5 people, 5 families, and who knows the exponential factor.
What that can go.
Where that can go.
So, Mary, what you're telling me is, I get in this program because you dropped a lot of knowledge, so we want to make sure we can condense it so everybody's understanding. So we get into this program. Yes. It's completely free.
It's free. Okay.
And then I'm going to acquire the skills of a carpenter, which are very lucrative. They make a lot of money.
Absolutely.
People need to understand how much carpenters make. This program is not offering you a chance to make McDonald's money or a chance to make warehouse money, working at a warehouse. Some people have work, no disrespect to warehouse workers and all that, God bless them, but this is money that could change your family, change the trajectory of yourself and your family for generations with a stable income that could put you into the middle class or above.
Yes.
So also, you tell me, so I have that opportunity, free, able to elevate myself and my family, and at the end of this program, they have job placement as well. I know you told me about the job placement aspect of it.
Yeah, and we're going to be looking at that all the way through through the program, trying to have people available who want to hire you.
Right.
And again, through the internship, like I said, the availability of working independent homes is one, but that's not the only one. You can do an internship. We had all these contractors in our city, and some
they're all around,
and some are contributing, and some are detractors.
Right.
But we can get them to do something. You hire a couple of these carpenter interns.
That's right.
And that's your contribution back to the community that you've been taking from for so long.
Absolutely.
But there's other people who we don't have to force to do that. There's other people who want to do it.
They're readily want to hire.
Yes.
We just need the skill set.
Yes.
And so after that, get the skill set and get the job placement.
Yes.
Job placement is one thing, but we want to be entrepreneurs. We want to work for ourselves. So after that, the program also have connections with the bank to help these people get capital to start off their business.
Yes, and the college is committing to that, along with the Rotary, who is made up of a lot of people who have worked in banks or have connections with people who worked in banks and so forth. And the information is out there, but what we want are specific people who have a specific goal in those areas. They want to open their business. What are the steps we need to open our business, and who do we need to be talking to at these banks to get that kind of thing started?
Right there. So basically, there's the program takes away every reason you cannot participate. You said as long as you're upfront in the beginning, they let you tell them your personal needs. You might need childcare. They work with you with that. If you need transportation, they work with you with that. You can't pay for your tools. They pay for the tools. Yeah. So they take away any reason that you can have not to participate. So it's up to the individual to take the opportunity to better themselves. That's all they got to do is participate.
That's right.
So for people in Chester, the medium income is $32,000. The individual is $17,000. Carpenters make well over that. Absolutely. I mean, most of them make at least $60,000, but into the hundreds of thousands.
That's right.
So we talking about a game changer. We can raise the whole demographic of Chester if we get a whole bunch of people with skills to take advantage of this opportunity. But the program is not going to be here if we don't take advantage of it.
That's right.
And so you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Right.
So we all talk about bettering ourselves. We want to be better. We want better for ourselves and our children. There's an opportunity sitting right in your face. Gift wrapped. All you got to do is take it, and you could change the course of your life. So we can't make you do it, residents of Chester. We can't make you do it. This is for 18 to 70. Anybody could join, male or female. There's no restrictions on it. So with a skill that can't be taken from you, jobs come and go. You can't take away a skill. So I just implore everybody that hears this podcast, the mayor can tell you about this. Tell them about your work with in the Obama administration, so people understand who this man is. He's the mayor of Chester. That's one thing. He's worked with DCC. That's another. But he has worked all the way up to the chain. He worked with the Obama White House. His connections are real and they're strong. So the opportunities that he's presenting are legit. We have to take advantage of them. This is not a game.
Yeah, I think the key thing for me, all those experiences and working with President Obama's Strong Cities, Strong Communities program, is that the key is the people. And that's how President Obama created a whole new thing in elections. With what he did, it's down on the ground with the people. So we have the power to change anything that we want to change. But I think what you're saying too is that it's going to be in your hands, and we don't have to wait. And I'm just saying, and again, men and women can participate in this program. These young men who are on the street, who feel like they have to be on the street, you don't have to be on the street. And again, if the location is an issue, call me. I can tell you some things that we're doing to handle the situation where we are. But the thing we have to understand is that we're in Chester. We've got resources coming to us, and we've got the ability to write our own ticket. Took me, I went to college 4 years, then I went and got my master's degree, and I wrote a couple of books, co-authored a couple of books and all that. This is not going to take you all that time. That took some years, and took me getting over some fears. You know, like you said, I've been to the White House and all that, man. My self-image wasn't at the White House initially when I first went down there, before I became mayor. My self-image wasn't White House self-image. My self-image was Chester self-image, even though I had professional with a degree.
Yes, sir.
Until I started learning, saying, man, I can go anywhere I want to go.
That's right. And
so my confidence level went up as I continued to grow, and I'm still from Chester. I'm still here in Chester. I tell you, I'm from Chester.
I call him our own mayor, Chester personal Dr. Claude Anderson. That's what I say. I say he's Chester's own Claude Anderson.
Yeah.
He's a treasure. We got to take advantage.
Yeah. So I'm just saying. They say that courage is not the absence of fear; it's doing something in spite of the fear. And we have lived. Most of us who can participate in this program, we have lived in the face of a lot of things that really are a lot more dangerous than going to get a carpentry degree.
Right.
And if we can face that, we can do something to get ourselves at a better level. And I think this is an opportunity, as you say. Like I said, look at it this way: if we can get, we got 15 slots for this semester to going in for that second cohort. We had 15 the first. If we can get, for the next 2 years, get 100 people in a program, a carpentry program, 100 more carpenters in the city, P, with certifications. And so the other people who have all these certifications, we can displace them. We talk about gentrification. Don't worry about gentrification. Get the degree first.
Right.
get the certification. We can do something about that once we got the certifications to do it. So I'm just saying that I think it's a great opportunity, and I appreciate your passion, both of your passion. I thank you, CMP Radio, for having us on. But we can do this, and we're going to have another session, a sign-up and information session at the Ben Holmes Center on 9th Street, 9th and Carlos Way. For the old school people, it's 9th and Norris Drive, but 9th and Carlos Way. And we'll have a sign-up.
What day are we doing? What day are you doing?
Tuesday.
This Tuesday.
The 31st, yes.
What time?
At 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Yes.
All right. Well, we need to promote that on the radio station. We need to make sure people are out there getting all this information.
Is there a website or anything like that up or anything like that, Mayor?
Well, they can go on my LinkedIn website and they'll see Riverside Futures on there, and they'll be getting it. We'll be putting it up on Facebook. I'm not sure if it's going to go up today or tomorrow, but it will be starting to appear on Facebook. Riverside Futures will have a page on Facebook. So we'll put the announcement up there anyway. People can go in there and see. Just go on my way.
Tuesday at 6:30.
Tuesday at 6.
6
Tuesday
p.m.
at 6.
Tuesday at 6.
And here's another thing. If you can't come, just don't come. Call or
Right.
you'll see the phone number there. Call and say, I can't make that one. When can I get my information? I'm learning things now. Well, I don't know all this technology, but I learned how to scan, and I can scan your application, send it right out there.
Okay.
I'm a bad boy now, man.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Scan that sucker and send it out there, and they have it. So you fill it out. I can get with you. Like I said, I have an office down on 3201 West 2nd Street. If I'm not down there every day, all day, but if I need to meet you, I can meet you down there and come down there and fill out the application. I'll take it and get it out to the community college. So we can do this thing, and I'm just excited because there's other industry that's coming here, as I mentioned, and they're looking at Chester internationally as a place, not just for petroleum, but as a center, because we're centrally located. The airport, we've got 4 rails that come through here, including passenger rail with Amtrak and SEPTA. And we got shipping rails that come through here. Trucking comes through here, 291 and 95, so we're centrally located in Pennsylvania and Jersey. So we need to be ready. And what I'm telling people who are manufacturers and people in the job industry, they come and ask me about coming to this city. I said, I don't mind talking to you and supporting you if you're going to invest in the social infrastructure. Mm-hmm. That's different from the industrial infrastructure.
Right.
Social infrastructure is us.
That's right.
We need more programs like this, and we need the opportunity to take advantage of those kind of trainings that get us the independence and interdependence that we need to succeed.
Listen, this is exactly what I want, right, from our community. I want our young men to have opportunities to grow, right, and to thrive and to break generational curses. If you are a person that feels as though this program could be for you, because this isn't the first time this has happened. This happened in the LV. Ms. Barbara Muhammad,
Yes.
right? She put it together.
Yes.
And those young men that partook in this program,
Yes.
right, have moved out of the city,
Yes.
right? They were once on the street.
That's right.
They were playing in the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of these young men, they have started their own companies, right? They have started their own organizations, right? Some men have gone on and make good money, nice house, nice car, nice everything.
Yes.
Because of this program, because of this opportunity. So I don't want anyone to neglect this opportunity, right? I want this opportunity to be given. And if it has to be force-fed, then it has to be force-fed, right? Constant promotion. That's what gets people excited into the program. And then if you get young men down there, get them to talk about it, man. This program is what this is about, right?
Yes.
If we can reach back and get Barbara Muhammad up here, right? Because there's opportunity out here.
Yes.
We can't continue to say, oh, man, the man don't want me to do this, the man don't want me to do that. When you have black people in positions to help you, step up and say, yo, I need help. Step up and say, yo, I got my kids, I can't really do it, right? Or you might need to kick that habit that you got, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
And look, if we need to talk, if you're not ready to come in this particular time, we need to have some meetings, P, and I'm willing to sit down and have a meeting where we have some meetings, not just to talk, but to actually teach some skills of how to get myself ready, how to handle some of those things that I have as responsibilities, the time management, and how do I prioritize my like I said, it's been a long time, but I remember my peers. They, when I first started going to college, they said, oh, there they go, there the guy, But they cheered when I graduated. Right. All of them cheered, man, and they were so happy. And I'm thinking, man, I'm leaving my homies, man. I needed to leave my homies. Right. They knew I should leave them. They thought I was smart before I knew I was smart. So we can help with that. If you're not ready to go in this year, let's have a group talk where we come in once or twice a month, and so till you get yourself ready. And we're going to have other opportunities for people to come in, but we need to take advantage of this while it's available to us, as many of us as possible.
This is amazing, man, and I feel as though this group and everybody that's working on this project, they need to get with me, man, so we can promote this situation, man. We get it out there. Let's get the flyer. Let's get everything up and running so it can be out there for the viewing public, so they can see it, so somebody's mother can see it and put it on their son's lap, so somebody's father can see it and put it on their brother's lap. Right? Look, man, this is a dope program. So what you're saying is, Chester residents, right? Yes. Even if you have a felony conviction.
Yes. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes, that doesn't make any difference. And probably entrepreneurial-wise, right. That's people. You don't have to worry about checking a box. You learn these carpentry, electrical skills. You create your own box.
Your own box.
You don't have to worry about the man's box.
Let's go, man. Let's get this done, man. I definitely need that flyer. I need all that. If I got to take the pictures myself and say this is what's out here right now, then I'll do that. Man, Mayor Linder, I thank you for stopping through. Will, you're not going anywhere because we got some people up here that you brought up here that we're going to talk to about the new Pennsylvania project. And man, this is exciting, man. So I don't know. I just got a bunch of energy right now, right? And I want to thank Mayor John Linder for taking the time to come up here and talk about this program. Let's make sure we get this out to the youth. Let's make sure. What's the age requirements? How old do they have to be?
18.
18 years old.
Yeah.
So if you got a group, if it's 5 or 6 of y'all right now, y'all all 18, 19 years old, sign up for this group. Sign up. Because it can change your life, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you can continue doing what you do, but you really can.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. As long as it's not what you do, it's how you do it. My grandmama always told me that, right? I don't care what you end up becoming in this world, but it's have respect with whatever you do. And understand that if it's not for you anymore, you'll realize it. And when you realize it, you better have something else set up for that.
I heard a guy say one time, he said, we don't know what we want because we don't know what to want. And if you have been in your environment for so long and not exposed to some other opportunities, then you think that that's the end of what you can get. No, come and, like I said, counsel with people, your level and above. If you're thinking creatively and you're in a group that are not thinking creatively, then you're counseling with the wrong people. You to talk to somebody, you had the experience that can tell you the way out. So that's what education really means. Educare. Eductos, the exit, a way out. So once we learn some things, once we're educated or taught or learn some things, then we can find our way out and also the way in. And so if you can't, you don't have the resources, man, you can build the resources for yourself entrepreneurially. So this, my father wasn't a carpenter, but I thought years back I used to want to learn the carpentry trade. So now I've translated my want and creativity from the carpentry trade to the mine. So I build mines.
Wow.
That's enough, Will.
He giving too much for free now. He giving too much for free now.
Listen, I've given you this platform for you to come through here whenever you feel as though you have the time, Mayor Linder, right?
Yes.
It's not about anything other than you having the time to come through here and to talk about the programs that are out here for the youth. Yes. For anyone that has any programs that's out here that's giving kids an opportunity to grow, come through the radio station, talk about it, right? And promote it. Let's promote it. Let's get it out there. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's give our children an opportunity to dream again.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
that's where we are, right? We're in a hopeless world, and if children don't have an opportunity to dream, they're not going to do anything. They don't see themselves as a future themselves, right? They see death and destruction everywhere. Right around the corner. It's right around the corner. Death tomorrow, right? When I was out there in the street, I didn't really think about tomorrow. I thought about today.
Yes.
You know, and when I left the streets, I realized, oh shit, I gotta figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do. What are people gonna say about me when I die? You understand what I'm saying? How are people gonna remember me when I'm gone? What kind of energy am I gonna leave here on this earth when I am no longer walking or talking or breathing?
What's my legacy?
What's my legacy? So I feel like if we put that on a kid's lap and say, what's your legacy? What's your future? What's your dream? And we have them answer those questions, you feel me? 9 times out of things will start to, the uptick will get better. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And more children will be gravitated towards success and working. Understand, man, this station can't be here without consistency, struggle, sacrifice, and just a dream, bro, to have a real radio station in the city of Chester dedicated to Delaware County.
Yes.
That's where I'm at.
Yes.
And I'm working every day to make sure that shit comes. It might not be the best type of work. You understand what I'm saying? My children's mother might get upset. You don't never had no time. I'm building right now, right? I'm trying my best. I'm trying to show my kids that this is what it takes. You understand what I'm saying? It's not about sitting around, playing around, joking, and we can do that later.
Right.
Let's work. Let's be consistent in our work ethic. Let's give a rat's ass about what's going on. Let's care about our next door neighbor's yards when we out cutting our grass.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if your next door neighbor, if their grass grow too high, you don't know what's hiding in there.
Exactly.
It could be a snake. It could be a pedophile. It could be whoever hiding there watching your kids. Cut the grass. Make sure the grass is cut. But I thank you, John Linder, for coming up here. Mayor John Linder for coming up here, man, giving me your time. And we about to cut out real quick, but we coming right back because we got some more people in here that we need to talk to, man. It's cmpradio.net. You already know it's Uncle P. It's Mr. Will Jones, man. How you feeling, Will?
I'm doing good, brother. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So we're going to get into this real quick. We'll be right back.
Outstanding, man. Do it again.
You already know it's your boy Uncle P, man. Listen, so the one thing I have learned, right, over the course of living my life is that, you know, opportunities are rare, right? And I want everybody to understand how rare this opportunity is right now. This is a game changer, literally. And that's what the paperwork says. It's a game changer, right? To qualify, you must be enrolled in at least 3 credits in the eligible program. This is this is amazing, right? Because we're giving back to the people of the city of Chester, right? So we can't deny this opportunity, right? So let's make sure we're telling children about this. Let's make sure we're getting this energy out there for the young bucks, man, and letting them know that this is available for them to move forward and to be a catalyst in their community, right? We always talk about there's no this, there's no that in the community. Well, now you have an opportunity, right? And you can start in the Bennett home projects, tearing them joints down, rebuilding them back up, get your carpentry, and then move forward, right? You know, there are tons of people that have done the program. They did it for the LV. Now they're doing it for the Bennett. So let's make sure we're on top of this. Let's make sure we're sharing this information. Where is Will? Where's Will? Come on, Will, you got to sit down. Why you here with me, man? You supposed to be in there, bro.
You don't want me to.
Oh, they don't want you to?
Yeah, so it's basically going to be them on
Okay.
the interview.
All right, let's go. Let's rock. Let's rock with it. Right. Yeah, so we're it's CMPRadio.net, man. It's your boy Uncle P, man, and I have two outstanding women sitting in this room right now, right, from the New Pennsylvania Project. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes. We're live on CMPRadio.net. How y'all feeling today?
Good. Really excited to be here.
Absolutely. I'm excited to have y'all because I want to know what this Pennsylvania Project is really about. So let's start at the beginning. Say your names, please.
Sure. My name is Kadida Kenner. I'm a founding executive director of the New Pennsylvania Project.
The founding executive director
Correct.
of the New Pennsylvania Project.
Yes.
What is the New Pennsylvania Project?
So the New Pennsylvania Project is a voting rights organization, and our primary purpose is voter registration. So we were created last May. We've been around for 1 year now with a mission to register the 1.7 million Pennsylvanians who are eligible to vote, but in this moment are not registered. It's an institutional failure on the part of so many that we have 1.7 million Pennsylvanians who have chosen for various reasons to not be engaged and not cast a ballot on any regular basis.
Wow. So this organization was brought forward because of a lack of voter registration or just the voter laws that's going on in the United States?
Well, we are a voting rights organization as well, so that's twofold. Right. So one of the issues is that there are so many who have chosen to stay out of the electorate, many with good reasons. And then the other part of that is that we have a state legislature, the General Assembly, both the state reps and the state senators that are GOP controlled in this moment, who have chosen to put additional barriers in front of voters rather than make it easier for people to cast a ballot. And I think that we need to make voting easier, not harder in this moment, and that's what we're experiencing in Pennsylvania.
Wow, that's crazy. So this program was brought. Who thought of this program? Like, how did it come up?
So I'm sure some of your listeners out there may have heard of the New Georgia Project and heard of Stacey Abrams. And so she founded with Nsé Ufot the New Georgia Project. And the New Georgia Project was founded in 2014 to expand the electorate in Georgia as well. And so what they were experiencing in Georgia, little different dynamics here than what's in Pennsylvania, but they also had record numbers of folks who were not engaged in the electoral process, or maybe they cast a ballot in 2008 and voted for the first black president, but didn't cast a ballot again after that first election. And so like the New Georgia Project, whose mission it was to register, particularly black folks in Georgia, was to knock on their doors and talk about issues. And so we're the same, where we're not knocking on doors and talking about political parties, we're not talking about political candidates, we're not here for just a 3-month period ahead of an election, but we're doing this 24/7, that we are out in communities, engaging communities year-round, and talking about issues. And so if that means that we are knocking on the door and reaching communities where they are and talking about the need to raise the minimum wage, that is still stuck at $7.25 an hour here in the Commonwealth. It's been that way for 13 years, even though every single state surrounding Pennsylvania has increased the minimum wage at least one time. I think about New Jersey, New York, Maryland, even Delaware, coming close to $15 an hour. Why wouldn't somebody leave the city of Chester, cross over into Delaware, and make $4 an hour more or $7 an hour more than to actually have to stay here with poverty wages, which is $7.25 an hour. So we talk about the issues, trying to get people motivated and provide civic engagement and education to get people to actually come out and cast a ballot.
Absolutely. And you brought Nancy Lopez with you. How you feeling, Nancy?
I am feeling really excited to be here, right. And I am the deputy of director of organizing. I recently got into the position. I was the regional director first, and we have several canvassers here in the city, trying to get folks registered. So if you see us around, just talk to us and get registered to vote. We're friendly. We don't bite.
Right.
So, yeah.
mean, a lot of people will say, this is a program that is definitely needed in our community, right? Because we have low voter turnout, low voter registration, right? So, what is your idea for Chester and how you can get those numbers up and get those numbers to rise?
Right. So the city of Chester is just one of the particular 5 regions in which we're working, and we're a statewide organization. And so we're going to spend a lot of time in Delaware County and in Chester County to make sure that we're getting the registration numbers up. We talk about turnout. And, I want to give kudos to Chester, the city of Chester, in Delaware County for a moment, because they actually had better turnout in this past election, just last Tuesday's election, than they had in the 4 years previous in the midterm election. I have some numbers in front of me, which tells me that there was 11% turnout in 2018 for the midterm election in the city of Chester, and that number bumped to 16% in the city of Chester. Those aren't the final numbers. We're still waiting for mail-in ballots and all. But that was a 5-point increase over the previous midterm election. And so it's good to see that trend. And we know that there are so many, that live here in the city of Chester and the surrounding area who are not in love with politics. Right. They may not even be in love with their current politicians that are representing them. And so we need to make sure that we're talking about the issues and people will understand truly what it is that elected officials should be doing or they are not doing, so that we can all feel that we're having representation that is reflective of our values.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So before you were doing this job, what were you doing before?
Yeah, prior to the New Pennsylvania Project, I was the director of campaigns for the Pennsylvania Budget and Policy Center.
Oh.
And then also I serve currently still as co-chair of Why Courts Matter Pennsylvania.
Why Courts Matter.
Yeah, so in those 2 roles, I did a lot of traveling the entire state and talking about the importance of the federal courts and the state courts. And we see how important they are in this moment. We talk about the voter suppressing laws that are trying to be moved currently in Harrisburg by the General Assembly. We think about the decision that's going to come out of the United States Supreme Court as it relates to Roe and overturning settled law and reproductive justice and the right to have an abortion. And so it's really important to keep one with that, to provide the education people need to understand how important it is, how important your vote is. I'm sure Nancy can speak to, in this moment, engaging people who don't want to get involved in this moment. They're like, I don't get involved with politics. And then what are the conversations that you all and your team are having at the doors and at the tables?
Yeah, it's very, we have those conversations very often. It's very common for people not to get involved in politics. But whenever we can talk about education, the main issues that are happening in the community, you have kids, everyone wants better schools, regardless if you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, everyone wants better schools. Whenever we approach them, in a food drive, people are like, well, I don't care about politics, I just care about having food at the table. And then we're like, well, do you know that the organization here, they probably receive funding from the government? So you better care who's, running the city.
Absolutely.
Or where that funding is coming from. So, we always tell people that even though you might not be a political major or, a politician, you really want to know who's running the city and where the money is going
Absolutely.
to. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's key for us to understand, like, how important politics, how important they are, right? A lot of us for a long time, man, that politics ain't got nothing to do with me. It's a politics. But, as I've taken a deeper dive into politics and understanding that almost everything that affects us as just regular people involves politics. You know what I mean? Almost everything that our streets, our sidewalks, you feel me? Like our cars, the emissions, you feel me? The banks, the amount of money that's given out through loans is affected by politics and by the government. So if we're not involved in decision making, then the things that we want and the things that we're crying about really aren't heard, right? So I think this is why New Pennsylvania Project is here, right? To allow the voiceless to be heard, right? The people that feel as though, politics is not for them to stand up on that and say, listen, this is what we want. This is what we need. And the only way to do that is to be involved with politics.
Yeah, those closest to the pain must be closest to the power.
Right.
And so when you have citizenry, right, and you have folks here who are feeling as though, they don't believe in politics. Well, politics believe in you. Politicians need your vote.
Right.
And our lives are political, particularly if we're talking about communities of color. Our lives are political. And so we must get engaged, because not voting is voting. Not voting is voting for the person who is not in favor of ensuring that your civil rights are, in place and restored, not helping your life be made easier. There's right now in Harrisburg, our General Assembly is holding on to almost $10 billion. That's with a B. A lot of that money came from the federal government to help us with mitigation from COVID. We have a General Assembly who's refused to spend that money on the people. They'd rather have it sit in a rainy day fund. And I don't know about you, but it's been raining here for a very long time.
For a very long time. It's flooded.
Yeah, it's
right?
flooded. It's torrential rainstorms.
Right.
And that money sits in a rainy day fund and not being used on the people, which could be used to help with the housing situation.
Right.
I mean, it could be used to help give us some relief as it relates to gas prices.
Right.
Trying to fill up a tank. I refuse to put a full tank of gas in my car right now.
$110 for me.
Oh, what? Right? So there's money that exists, and it's not being used to help the people. And if we are voters or not voters, or we're just informed people out here that are living these lives, we need to hold elected officials accountable. Elected officials are not scared of you if you are not a voter.
No, they're not.
And so when you call an elected official's office, most of them, and you have a need, right? You might have a need for a passport, or you might need a pothole fixed, or a light installed in front of your home, or you might be having an issue with your kid in school, and you call your elected official. One of the first things they're going to do is look you up in the voter file. Number one, find out, are you actually a constituent of theirs? And then number two, are you a voter? Because why would I want to help you if you're not helping me stay in power or put me in power, or you won't take me out of power?
Right.
So if you're not voting, you're losing your voice always, and in all kinds of ways.
Wow, that's major, man. I just so in Chester right now you're doing voter registration drives, right? How many people do you have out here on the streets? Is this something that someone can apply for? Can they be paid for this situation? Are you looking for more help?
Yes.
With different community members? Explain that to me.
Yes, so we currently have 3 organizers, so 1 full-time person, 2 part-time, and we're always hiring. We have full-time opportunities, part-time opportunities. If they go into the website, they can find more information about the positions. Right. But we're in high traffic areas. We don't really do door knocking a lot.
Just set up a tent and sit out there and vote.
Yes,
Voter registration.
yes. One of our main spots right now is West and 9th Street with Concord Avenue.
Right. So the Highland Gardens, the McCav, you feel me, Highland Avenue, right? That's where you're at right now, or you're down on the east side?
On the east side.
Okay.
Yes, right. And we have also been outside of the schools, the main schools here in Chester City, registering parents after the dismissals.
Absolutely.
So, if you want more information about the positions, you can go to our website. We're always hiring. If this is something that calls you.
I want New Pennsylvania Project to use the radio station, right? The radio station has over 10,000 likes and followers. We have people that are here, right? I think the news. What's important is to get this information out, right? You understand? And the more we get the information out, the easier it is when they see you, they know your name. You know what I mean? Oh, I saw that on Facebook, right? Oh, let me see what's up with that, right? Let me see. Oh, what are y'all doing? Why are y'all here, right? It's like voter registration is important. We did it a couple years ago with the Chestorian Project, right? And we were out in the community. We had food, we had hot dogs, we had a DJ, you feel me? And we were feeding people and getting people to register to vote, and we got good numbers. You know what I mean? So I know how important it is to be able to do that. You feel me? From a sense of just doing it. You feel me? But you guys are doing it from a wider sense. You're like all of Pennsylvania. This is important for all of Pennsylvania to get out there, all Pennsylvanians to get out there, to register to vote, to actually let your voice be heard and to change the way things are going in this state, which is crucial, right? We have a lot of gun laws that need to be passed, right? You know, we got tons of stuff that need to happen, right? The city of Chester is filing for bankruptcy, right? If you're a part of the city of Chester and you care, right, you want to know why. What's that process like? But if you're not registered to vote and you don't vote, you don't use your voice, why are we giving you this information? You You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely appreciate this, man. This is definitely dope. Anything y'all want to say before y'all roll out?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see a lot more of us. I mean, obviously, we need more people on the ground here in this area, and we're going to, you know, Delaware County, Chester County is going to be a very large focus. So grateful to have folks on our team like Will, you know, who hooked us up here today to get you on air with us, to get us on air with you today. But, you know, I really want to leave with this parting note, which is we need to get the kids involved. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention, you know, what went down yesterday in an elementary school. And knowing that comes off of what happened in Buffalo, right? And what happened
in California. Right.
And so children and young adults really need to start getting more engaged, and we need to empower them to feel as though they can be engaged. And Nancy mentioned that we spent some time in Chester High School, also one of the other schools there too. What was the other school?
The STEM Academy.
The STEM Academy, right? And registering those high school students to vote. So if you're a 17-year-old watching this, or you're a parent of a 17-year-old who's going to be 18 by November 8th, register to vote right now. You can register to vote right now. And what, you know, as this is a larger audience for Chester, the city of Chester, there is work to do with voter registration with the youth. And we need to get them engaged because, you know, if we have real, true conversations with them, they get it. They understand because they're living this. They know what the difference is between a Strathaven High School and a Chester High School. And then to bring them into the power of that is that you elect officials who are going to bring equitable funding to your high school, so that Strathaven and Chester High School have the same things, right? But right now we're relying on various ways to fund schools instead of equitably as we can. And so, you know, I want to make sure everybody out there listening knows that only 7% of Chester Upland High School students who are eligible to vote in this moment are registered.
Wow.
7%. Now that number has changed. We did, you know, some registration there in Chester High School just last month. And then, you know, we're other places, and there's teachers getting more involved now, but we need to make sure we get the voter registration numbers up in these high schools, because if we're waiting for them to get to college, we know that not everybody goes to college. So we need to register them in high school, because we have to get them early, and we have to create super voters for a lifetime and get these young kids involved, because we are leaving behind for them a mess.
We are.
And they can do something about it by casting their vote. There's a lot of young folks right now, you know, they're almost about to take over the older generation. And so if all of them came out in record numbers consistently and voted in every 6 months, because we vote every 6 months in Pennsylvania, then we can have some changes that will impact young people's lives too.
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to thank you for stopping through. You know, however, the radio station can help. The radio station is here to do that, right? Same thing I told Mr. Linder, Mayor Linder. There's nothing we can't do together, right? And if you want to go somewhere quick, go alone. You want to go far, go together. So, you know, let's keep on, you know, keeping on. Let's keep on doing what we're doing out here in the community. And I thank y'all, right, for putting this. This is major, putting this on your shoulders and pushing this across the street, right? And I see y'all, so I'm here to help. So however I can help, let's go.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
No problem, man. It's CMPRadio.net. You already know it's your boy, Uncle P, man. And I am extremely excited for our next group. Next, I have Miss Carol Kazeem, right? Miss Kearni Warren and Miss Joan Broadfield, man. You know, and that's exciting, right? Because we're going to get to understand what's going on in the community, right? How important it is to be involved in your community, how important it is to want to see something different rather than seeing the same thing replay itself over and over and over and over again. And literally, I'm ecstatic. You feel me? Because, you know, there's a takeover happening, right? And I think the women have the vote, right? Women have the power, right? But us men, we have to come together. We have to make sure this happens. So it's CMPRadio.net, man. You already know it's a Cultivating Mature Positivity podcast. We'll be right back. Peace. You already know, man. CMPRadio.net. It's your boy, Uncle P, man, and I'm live from the Cultivating Mature Positivity Studios. And I have 3 special guests, man, and we're about to talk about everything that's going on in the community, right?
From my
I
time
don't even.
as a child.
She talking while I done turned her mic on. She ain't got her headphones on. She running her trap. Miss Carol Kazeem, how you feeling?
Amen.
Look at her. Look.
Headphones on.
Headphones.
Put the
I
head-
am feeling great.
You feeling great?
Can you hear, Joe?
What?
Can you hear?
Yes.
Why can't she hear?
We on
Karen-
the air.
Oh, you know what? This is what happens, man.
Tonita.
We got the ladies in the building, man. What's going on, ladies? How y'all
Excuse them, everyone. They have not been on these shows
feeling? Right.
often.
Kearni knows what she doing.
She's great.
She's
I didn't know we were live.
I
But-
see Tonita's name. Does that mean she's there?
yeah.
Tonita?
Well, she was watching. Right.
Oh yeah, Tony is on there.
You got to talk. You got to get
Hey,
closer to that
Tonita.
microphone, Kearni. Let's get to the microphone. There we go. Everybody
Is it
else.
like
Right.
up-
There it is.
up Close.
There it is. Right. Ladies. How y'all feeling?
I'm great. I'm sitting next to our
Don't do that. Don't do
new
Say no.
state rep, possibly. Well, she will be in November.
Yeah, we're going to make sure of
that.
that.
Yeah, God willing. God willing.
And Miss Joan, I've known her for about 20 years
Right.
or so.
Me and Miss Jones, we met briefly on what was that, Thursday? Last Thursday.
Was it Thursday?
Or was it Friday? I think it was Friday.
Friday.
May 20th.
Yeah.
I was on a Zoom for Delaware County Criminal Justice, right? And,
League of Women Voters
League of
did a
Women
very
Voters.
interesting panel. Yep, with the DA and with you and a
Right.
bunch of other folks.
Right. And she hit me up and she was like, and instantaneously I give you my phone number. You want to call me? You want to
That's
talk?
right. We did.
Let's talk about how we can improve, living quality in the city of Chester. And then we had a conversation yesterday, right? And she gave me a name of somebody that that I know of, but I didn't know had a program like the program that I want to see started here in the city. So I'm gonna make it a note once I get my stuff together to reach out to that person and see how their program can help our program. But that's what it's all about, right? Unity, coming together as a community, right, to get things done, right? I just said it earlier. You want to get somewhere fast, you go alone. You want to go far. You want to make sure the mission is done. You go together. Unity makes strength, right? So what are we talking about today? What's going on right now?
We have to
Carol?
give- oh.
Okay. So for me, what's going on, as everyone know, because of everybody, like you said, came together for us to go far. I definitely won the Democratic primary. Actually first woman. So I'm very happy to see that in this day and time. We're just out there on the ground, just really still making sure that we put as much work as we can. Came in like 10 minutes late.
Late applause. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Just making sure that we're staying on the ground to make sure that, we can keep the same transparency that I've been speaking about and making sure that we're involved in different communities across the 159th. So we have some upcoming, great programs and events and even some talks that I will be doing with different business owners and nonprofits across the 159th. So I kind of have a schedule a little bit lined up to see where everybody's at with different projects and to see, what I can do. But not only that, what's up with me is, if people haven't been kind of hearing from me a little bit, I've been pretty much trying to do some schooling myself to learn how to be the best effective representative, to figure out what is available out there and, what are the programs that are available to us from Harrisburg. And, just kind of lining up a team, a transitional team and seeing the best people that we can see so we can be able to make sure that we get what we deserve, and just talking about a lot of things I want to see coming forth to the community. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but, I have a lot like ideas and some good things that I think would help us. We just got to make sure we have the right people to come in and help us with that. So I can give you a list of things, but I need the right people, and I would definitely love to see, community members be on the front line of that first. Even if other people are coming in to support, I would like to see, our members be on the front line to see these things happen that can benefit, the community of Chester.
Right.
And vice versa for the other communities in 159th. I want to see their members also be on the front line. I also noticed that too along the way. They really don't have many, middle-aged and young people kind of even having businesses, such as like Trainer. Right. I think Trainer could kind of get a little bit more help with that too. Right. I know they're doing the best they can, and these are small barrels, but some things can be sped up a little bit more.
Well, Carol, you are so good at building relationships, and that is so important. It's been really amazing to watch you.
Thank you. Couldn't done it without y'all. How about you, Kearni? What you got going on?
I'm just trying to help you get elected.
Oh.
Continuing this women's movement and my work with educating the community residents on the environmental justice work that needs to be done here in Chester, and making people understand the connections between local politics and state politics and federal politics. I think that our community, we're kind of left out, and it's not our fault, but we really do need to be educated on what the different types of political roles there are. So that's what I'm focused on right now, continuing this women's movement here in Chester that helped push Carol over the line, and that involves educating our community and continuing to get people to register to vote. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Joan, sorry, I kind of got caught. Maybe it was God. Here I am talking about programs, and all I seen was skilled trade certificates and associate degrees.
It'd be great if we had VOTEC back here, right?
Oh, we need it. I think starting even in the school, but just seeing HVAC and electrical, carpentry, welding, we really need that.
We needed to be sold to our children, right? Our children need to hear about it. They need to see it, right? They don't know it's available, so they will always say, there's nothing available for me. Who's walking up to these children today and saying, here, look at this program?
I remember one of the things that used to happen at the Chester High School in the 70s or maybe even in the 80s. Right. We had our own industrial work in the high school, and I met young men who were, studying tailoring. And I don't know what happened to get rid of that, but I feel it was like...
You don't know?
We
know what happened.
Yeah, I know what happened.
You want to explain what happened, Joe?
Bad decisions were made.
Bad decisions were made. People left. And when people leave, we can look around and see. We got Strathaven, we got Penncrest, we got all these schools around us that are doing these things, but Chester High isn't doing anything. You know what I mean?
Well, Chester High's doing what it can, but it does not get a lot of support. It doesn't get a lot of support from local politicians. It doesn't get a lot, or it gets the wrong kind of support from some politicians. It doesn't get enough money, as we know from the state lawsuit about all of the schools in Pennsylvania that are not being equitably funded.
Right.
And we need to be more open and learn more about that and decide that we're going to fight for it, as Carol has so amazingly.
Fair funding.
Yeah, well, not just fair funding. Key thing she said is support. And they definitely got the right one this time. Right. Because I will check them. Right. Put CUSD on that map and stop playing with us.
You said something else. Oh, man. No count. Put what on the map?
CUSD.
There it is.
Yeah.
Chester
CUSD.
Upland School District. We have tons of children inside of Chester Upland School District that just might not. They might be a little lost, right? They might not know who they are, right, because of what they see or the movies they watch or the radio that they listen to. But how can we affect these children in a positive way? Like what steps do we have to take as a community to make sure our children are receiving everything that they should receive from a school?
Well, from the school and from the city, I think making sure the parks are in fact going to get the improvement we keep hearing about, that would be great. Making sure that people know of camp programs that are happening in schools, that Chester Education, CES, oh dear, there is a website, Chester Educational Foundation, that mentions camps that are happening over the summer, and there's more of them, and some of them are actually having stipends related to them. So yeah, absolutely go online, find out about them, and sign your kids up, because kids should be doing things. And we also need to make sure that our politicians are getting them funds from the city, from the state, that will actually help us do the things we want to do. And for too long, I've been living here since '76, and I watched as people refused to fund stuff for kids. And so today, what's happening? Kids who did not get to do things are doing
Other
crazy things.
Right. Other things, right?
Where we brought it on ourselves. We weren't active. We need to get active.
To piggyback on what Joan just said, getting active, community residents really need to get involved in the politics of the city. And I'm so happy because the numbers came out that this was a historic primary midterm election. And I think it has a lot to do with there was 2 viable candidates, and Carol won the primary. So we have to start getting more involved. And I know that many of us are just trying to put food on our tables, and we don't understand the connection between what is happening to us. But we do need to get out, get more involved, attend educational programming that is offered. And also, Joan, what you were saying is we're not getting the support from Harrisburg or the county, unfortunately, because of who are in those roles. So Carol's win is huge because that puts another person in place, because there's so much money out there that we're not getting. There's so many grants available that you see other municipalities and other cities and states that they are getting, that their state representatives are getting, that their mayors are dispersing. So we need to raise up more people who are progressive and they have a human rights mind and want to really, really help see our communities thrive and see our children thrive. So Carol is definitely one step in the right direction for that to happen for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
She's
I guess-
tired.
No.
I told her to take a break. She shouldn't even be here.
Yeah,
No, we need to be working with her.
Yeah,
Not we're not
honestly,
gonna. Yeah, go ahead.
It's what do we need to do in order for us to get more? I know I'm not like the rap, but I gotta be honest, everyone. I gotta be honest. First step, we have to know when to play the political card. That's first and foremost. And I say that because as adults, we have to remember that when it comes down to our kids, even if we don't want to see, look at each other, or we may not agree, we have to look at the bigger picture on our future and how that affects our community. Before I even decided to run, I used to say, excuse me, in order for us to execute on a good economy here in Chester, we have to upgrade on our education, in our school system and the programs that we provide in it, that would enhance on our skill set. So I feel like we have to stop with the selfishness. That's first and foremost. And stop looking at everything being, and I'm not being to be smart, and I'm not saying this is everyone, but we have to get out of the greed aspect of things, that everything falls down to, I can make money out of this. Feed your family, build your wealth. But at the same time, when we find ourselves going too looped into that, we forget the purpose behind why we're doing it. And the kids get lost along the way because we drag them right along in it. And that's the problem that I see and I have. And that, again, that's my opinion. It's not to knock anyone down, but I do see where we could be sitting there having our disagreements and the kids are watching us, or we're not listening to them. So I feel like the first thing we need to do is just start fresh. We need to have either panels, talk tables, take them out and sit with them and hear what they want. And then we have to get them to understand from our standpoint of what things are, why things are the way they are, and what we could do. Remember, we was out there for the healthcare, for Crozier, and the kids came over.
Yes.
I immediately started talking to them. I told them why we were out there, what it meant if we closed Crozier or the mental services. Then the kids started interacting and giving me their opinion, or, oh, well, what about this? Or my mom's having a baby. Where's she going to go? And I said, well, we do have riddle, but they said, but what if she have to go immediately? And I said, well, that's the problem. Right. Oh, well, what if somebody get, God forbid, but they said shot? We take away EMS. We already have them coming late as it is to certain crimes because we don't have many. Just imagine none. You know, so talking to them and kind of getting them more involved, I think would be a lot of start. Then we'd be able to kind of get out a little bit more of what they would like to see in their community, which is something that, you know, hopefully I can sit down with Mr. Roots, and now I'm saying it publicly, so you can't say I ain't said. But I would like to see, since these pools is closed, and I know money is a problem for us right now in the city, and I wish I can pull a little more right now, but I'm in a position that I still have a Republican candidate. But I would like to see some sprinklers being put in some of the parks, you know, and I remember sitting
In public spaces.
right
even.
in public spaces, so you know, for free.
Yep.
For people that probably can't afford or choose not to bring their kids to the other side.
Like Philly at City Hall.
Right, right, at the Love Park, or you got Tennicum Township, Tennicum.
Yeah. Wow.
They have that parking there right next to their
Yes,
waterfront.
yes.
And they have sprinklers.
I didn't know that.
Yep, and it's for free.
Cool.
Any kids is welcome to come. It doesn't matter.
So great.
So these are things that we can have without having to worry about paying for membership, or if something like that happens and we're cleaning the pool, shut down, kids have somewhere locally to go.
I have a question about that pool situation. You know, that type of wear and tear doesn't happen overnight, and Mr. Reach just got into office, and he's coming in, he's stepping up to a problem that was there. But, you know, my father has a pool, and the pools have to be serviced continuously.
Yep.
So how did it get to the point where it needs, what, $200,000 worth of work? Is that the number? Something like
Yep.
that?
Yeah.
I mean, where's the care? That's what's missing, right?
So, right, this isn't that part of a lot of the things that we're seeing that aren't working well? Streets that are torn up that are not fixed. And we hear that there is a city problem with money, but we also hear that there is money out there that you have to apply for. And so what are we doing about that?
And I have to bring this up while we're here. That house fire that happened on election night, the house on 332 West 9th Street, that house needs to be secured. Children walk by that house to and from school every day. Other people walk by that house, and the roof is sunken in, and part of the house has already fallen. Some of the bricks have fallen on Miss Anita's property. And when you sit out there with her, the residue and the dust gets in your eyes, it gets in your throat. So this is not just a physical danger, it's an air quality situation. And I just don't understand why this place isn't secured yet. I met with the DA's office yesterday, and then I was told today that the city has to apply for some type of demolition funds. But before we get to that, to tear the property down, hopefully next week is what they said, we need that house secured. So we need you all to call and email our Councilwoman Williams to please ask her to take the necessary steps to secure that house next door to Miss Anita, because if that house falls down, it can harm people. We don't know what it's going to do to her home.
Is that like a duplex or a row house? So it would also probably injure Anita's house?
Yeah, well, her house sits separately, but it is
okay.
attached to another house that which has a separate property owner. So, and the fire traveled over to the roof of the next house. So there is no type of barricade out there to protect people who are walking by.
Well, there's no fence, right? There
There's
is
no
that
fence.
one little barricade which kids could easily walk around or even play on.
Right, but there's nothing protecting the structure
Right,
of the
right,
of the house.
Right.
So what do you suggest they put up to protect the structure of the house?
I don't. What do you call those scaffolds?
The fence that they put around, like for instance, the east side, the old east side, where the church that was put the fire, automatically you put something around it that will keep the damage in, keep the kids out, because kids are going to go there. You're not going to arrest them if they go out, I hope. That would not be a wise thing to do, right? Arrest kids. It's not a good idea.
It's never a good idea. So for me, I definitely agree. It's just if you blocking off the sidewalk, where are people supposed to walk?
No,
Well,
you're not.
the
The
sidewalk, but
house.
the house.
Okay.
The
The house
house.
kind of sits back.
Okay.
You know.
There is a yard,
Right.
so you put it around the house,
Put a
just
fence
like
around the house.
yeah, like as I said, the church has one. Finally, they put one around the church. That for a long time was not secured either. There needs to be a much better plan in place to deal with these things, which happen all the time.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of fires that take place
Yeah.
in Chester, and it was reported that there are chemicals in that home that caught on fire. And we found out that supposedly there was a fire at one of the relatives' houses of the property owner. So that's a little interesting to me.
On that day, yeah, we had 3 fires that day. That was election day.
Yeah, that was election
It
day.
was election day. It was 3 fires in the city. I heard the firefighters, the fire trucks running up and down the street. I said, "Wow, what the hell's going on?" But
One
yeah,
from Garden City.
yeah.
Carol set that place on fire when she won.
Don't blame it on Carol.
I don't mean it. You know what
That was
I-
a joke, a
That
sick
was-
joke.
I
was
was
it a
like-
sick joke? I'm sorry.
Soon as that day I said, Lord, what did I do? I did. So I ain't gonna hold you. I was like, what did I do?
What
I
else
was
we got going
I
on?
came back out the next morning though. I was like, "Damn, who put this thing on fire?"
You said what?
I had to come out the next morning. Who put it on fire?
So we talked to John Linder, Mayor Linder earlier. He was talking about that program, right? We talked to the New Pennsylvania Project, right? You guys had a chance to meet with them in the room. Like, how do you feel about them?
Go ahead, Kearni. No, I thought you was going to talk. I was trying to give you that opportunity. I think the mission is great. It's needed, especially for locally here in our communities. And I even brought up to them and told them that not only do we want to just, say, hey, register to vote, because that's what I see sometimes too, not with them specifically, but when people do voter registrations drives and things, you don't get attention because you don't talk to them about why you're asking them to vote.
Right.
You're not letting them know the piece behind what does every seat mean. So you have to talk to them about that. And before you even bring that up, like I said to them, you got to even figure out what is going on in their mind right then and there. Right. You cannot talk to nobody about voting or about, hey, do you know a Governor Shapiro's running? And as soon as you bring up Attorney General, they would say, oh, is that the one why my case? I'll be like, nah, that's DAs. That has nothing to do with Attorney General. But, I feel like once you put them in a situation for them to express what they have going on and what would they like to see, then you talk about why this is important. How does that impact, whether in a negative or in a positive way? Right. So seeing Pennsylvania Project wanting to come out, already coming out, doing a lot of work, and they have a person who's from the city doing it. I think that for one, shout out to Will Jones.
Yes.
I think that also helps build a relationship, and it gets people to, know like, okay, I could talk to him because he's from here. Right. So he sees what I'm seeing. He knows what I'm talking about. Absolutely. So I think it's a great mission. I mean, Mayor Linder being here, for one, it shows and it tells me that whether you sit in a seat or not, just being able to come out and still be a voice in your community and want to bring a platform to say, hey, listen, I may not be your mayor anymore, but please do not miss out on these opportunities. I'm still connected with these things that are going on, and I want y'all to do something in a positive manner to enhance on yourself. So just seeing that, it does warms my heart. When I see other nonprofits that come out and still do it, or other people who are no longer probably involved with certain organizations, but they still try to come back and give off information, I think that's really a blessing, because there's a lot of people that come in, and once they're gone, they are gone. So I'm with it. The honest truth is, everything that they're applying or they spoke on today, I'm going to utilize it, and I'm going to take that with me and learn from it. And, even use that as an example for myself on how do I even, kind of get out there and execute my job performance as well. So I'm just happy to see them here. I probably seem a little out of it, tired, but
I
You've been a little busy, Carol.
I've known Kadida.
but I am very happy.
I've known Kadida Kenner, the founder and executive director, for a while. She's actually was a colleague of mine. I used to be an organizer for SEIU Healthcare PA, and Kadida was the director of campaigns for the Pennsylvania Budget and Policy Center, which deals with the budget in Pennsylvania and the different issues that the budget affects, like school and housing, minimum wage. So I'm just so proud to see her continue in Stacey Abrams' footsteps, where Stacey Abrams with the New Georgia Project was really behind getting a lot of people to vote in Georgia, and
Right.
I mean,
And
really,
voter rights.
yeah,
Amazing.
voter rights,
Yep.
really pushing, whether you like them or not, this president that we have to win the election. So I'm so happy to see her as a Black woman take on this powerful movement and job, taking a stance to get people registered to vote and educating people on voter rights, because I think I said this earlier, we are currently fighting elected officials that don't have our best interest at hand on all levels of government. And we are wasting our time trying to push people for what we want when it's not a part of their agendas. So we also have to uplift and raise new candidates and elect them, human rights candidates, progressive candidates who are going to fight for what we need in our communities, because we just cannot keep putting our hopes into people who are already in office or candidates whose agendas are totally opposite of ours. So,
Boom, I gotta pause you there.
okay.
P, give me a minute. hit that button. The bomb. Now, we have to pause for a minute. You said agendas of ours. Who is ours and what agenda?
The agenda, yes, the agenda of the people,
Okay.
of the community, because everything that happens in our community affects us, and we are not being asked what we want, and our voices are not being heard. Just look at the different meetings we have, and you'll see the comments in city council meetings, things that are not getting done. So that's important. When I say ours, our agenda, I mean voting rights, issues of voting rights, the issues on raising the minimum wage, the issue on health care, and the list goes on and on and on. Women's reproductive rights, critical race theory being taught in the schools, all of the issues that affect gun violence, gun laws, these issues that affect our lives and death, really. We need to elect people who will take a human rights stand, because these are all human rights.
Can I just make a quick correction? And I
Yes.
hope you'll forgive me.
Okay.
Critical race theory is not something you teach in elementary schools.
I didn't say that.
Oh, no, but I think someone might have heard you say critical race theory and thought that that's
The
what you
views.
meant, because that's the way
okay.
it's been presented,
Presented.
right, by Republicans.
Right.
And it's not. It's what we want is we want real history taught in our schools.
Right.
We want history that reflects all of the people in the United States, and we know that there will be people who will be thinking about critical race theory, which is important in courts where certain defenses are made because people didn't get what they needed because they were not white. And that's important, right?
Yeah, but what I meant was just that's an issue that
Yes.
is in the political arena
It
right
sure
now.
is.
And people are, it's a hot topic issue.
Yes,
that's
Now,
it
being
is.
discussed.
It
I
is.
gotta let me buckle my belt a little bit. So I asked that question because how many people watching? Okay, so that
5.
tells me
No.
that the other 3 is not on here now. So I asked that question because some people failed to realize that when we say our views, we have people. This is the honest truth, and let me not say this the honest truth. This is my truth. This is what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
We have people that may sit on both sides of the parties that do align with that view. But there are few that may not go in the direction of what we may want because we're non-existent to them. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not that some of them won't want minimum wage, but why should we give the people over there in that city, allow them to have and even be equal to us when it's already designed for them to stay in that poverty mindset?
Well, it's not just,
You understand
not
what I'm
just
saying?
our communities,
Hold on,
but
no, but listen,
state.
right. But even on state side, when you go into other people's communities, right? Even if we have, let's say, Democrats fighting for minimum wage, some of them come from neighboring communities that don't have that problem.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they may say, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm with it," but it really don't affect their communities. Affect communities like ours, the real blue collar, under minimum wage, underserved communities. So the key thing that you said is choosing the right candidate, but someone that you know understands that level
Right.
of that. So I feel like when we pick, we do sometimes align with party because we know to some degree they're going to
Support.
support. But there are some things
That they
that are
don't know
not
about.
going to, right. Thank you. So when we're talking about how we say we want so much small businesses to be supported, believe it or not, there are some that don't speak too much out on it because they're on the corporate side of things.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's my truth. And I thank you all for giving me this opportunity to speak on that. So that's all I can really say to that point. But I just wanted you to answer that because when you said our views and here, I think for anyone to even look our way, we have to be in the mind. They have to already have the mindset of they are human. So when we talk about human rights, can someone say, I'm going to support you on human rights if you don't even see someone even as a human? Exactly. So that's kind of why I was having you speak on it, to kind of better understand where you were coming from, but just also understand my standpoint and why. So some people think, oh, why, go against another Democrat? It ain't nothing personal. But if you're not
If you're not doing it,
thinking about
I wanna do it.
right, or experienced, or you're not in the mindset of the small people, the little people, the forgotten people, then we're going to still keep going back to square one. Some people may not like that, and some people who might be my future colleagues may not like that I said it, but it's the truth. And I say it because I want people to remember that don't forget when you came in your seat, why you said you wanted to run, because you felt like the little peoples. So it's just something we have to learn how to start speaking out on, because we cannot make any changes without that piece.
Right.
Until we acknowledge where we went wrong. And that's where part of it we went wrong. So I can acknowledge that piece of it and know that some things are not right. And I know there's some things I'm going to have to learn. But I know at the same time I'm unapologetic. And I know at the same time we need to move some things shifting. A lot of people are not going to like that. And we have to get out the selfish mindset. So like I tell people, make your money, do what you got to do. But you can't allow other people to suffer behind your mistakes.
And you said something very important, which I think should be highlighted. Elections and politics are not personal. It's about the candidate and the work that the candidate has done, even often before they decided to run for office. That is a track record. When you can look at someone's life, their lifestyle, which includes their volunteer work, what's important to them, where do they spend their time? That starts before a lot of times the candidate runs. So we also have to get out of the mindset that politics is personal. It's not personal. It's not so much Carol against Kearni. It's Carol's track record. Is she the person to do the great job against? Is Kearni is her track record good? What has she been involved in? Is she the right person for the job? Does her values and belief systems align with mine? And I think that if we start to begin to really educate our communities on that piece, and not that it's not personal. It's not one person attacking.
It's not a beauty contest.
It's not a beauty contest. It is about does your values align with my values? Will your platform improve our situation over time? And do you have the track record? Also, budgets. What do people think about budgets? Where do you want to spend money at? Because Martin Luther King Jr. said that budgets are moral documents. So what that means is that shows what your priorities are. When you have a budget and our elected officials are talking about how much money they want to put in certain areas, that dictates what a person's priorities are and what they find important.
And we have to also, as a unit, come out. Pierre, this is where you need to be. Go out and vote November. Second or third?
Go out and vote,
because I'm gonna make sure Pierre's pulled in Harrisburg for during these PA state budget sessions, because I've personally myself spoke at least 2 or 3 of them. And at the time, I was just a community member of Chester, so I'm only saying Chester, not that I'm discarding everybody else. But I spoke on it. I spoke on it. I spoke at the session, and I talked about the non-existence of how Chester's not included. And it's not to say that they don't
count us out.
Right. It's not to say that they do not include us in budgeting and sending money over. We know that we get some ongoing, consistent money that comes from the state for different various of things continuously. But there are other extra funding that are available.
Yes.
And I usually hear Pottstown, Norristown, Philadelphia, Allentown, Pittsburgh. I'm constantly seeing that. So here they are giving a whole presentation, and they bringing up stats about us. Right. They ain't know I was on there going to be speaking. And I'm just looking and I'm just listening to all their statistics and talking about, and city is like this, and this is why we have these programs. I said, so they got these programs to get to everybody else off of our statistics. Mm-hmm. But where's Chester Voice? So now here I am, I'm giving her my piece of, well, that money you talking about over there, we need that over here. Right. So as I'm saying where I think the money could be used wisely, what we're in need of help on, this is even during our receivership and how it can help us here. That's one of the things I advocated for the school district, about pushing that money towards us to stop the sale of charterizing it, at least for that physical year. So even though, that kind of passed through fine, but the problem that I had was it was just me and there was no unity, because then they emailed and they said, well, we don't have many people that speaks out about this issue for you guys. So even though we know, we're only doing the best that we can. Right. We got one budget secretary in PA. We got one, that's what they're saying. So they're like, if Philadelphia comes 200 squad deep, talking about we want this in for West, South, this, they hear that. They got more people on their tails. So we're going to need more people we're going to need someone like CMP Radio to put on a station and put it up to the secretary and say, I'm sorry, so you say that again? Where's the money going? You know, so they could be, so, you know, I think that would help, you know, give us that face.
Well,
So
the other
that would
thing
help.
that would do, wouldn't it, is would also the thing you were talking about, education.
Yeah.
That'll help us in our city get more educated about the reason why we have to pay attention to what Harrisburg is doing, and we can be part of it. Right?
Yeah, and I think we need to, because I done a lot of collaborations with other organizations. You know, regarding our school system and things, but I feel like when it comes to our own, we're going to have to build a foundation of our own big organization.
Carol, let's do it. I have this.
You know what I mean? We're going to have to hit some PTO parents. We're going to have to build our own foundation.
take
So
care of
when
us.
these things happen,
Let's vision our whole new idea
Yeah,
of
I mean,
public
most
education
definitely.
in Chester.
and we need to do it, Chestorian. We need to do it.
and
What you telling me for?
there's new ideas, you know, about project schools that are working really well in Philly, where there was one project school, this is several years ago, that it was a brand new idea. And when that first, they started, I think, in 9th grade on this project school idea. By the time they got to 12th grade, every single kid got accepted into a college, even though it was a project idea rather than the curriculum of academic focus. It was the project idea is a different kind of way of approaching the study of things. There are so many other ways we can focus on the ideas of education. We're so stuck right now in the model that we have that is not working well at all.
Definitely the model's not working. So we're going to have to expand on that foundation. So when times come up and we need to go to Harrisburg, then we have a force coming for,
I would love to be
you
on
know,
that.
our communities to come out there. You know,
Our city has been in a muck for a long time, right? No stability, no consistency, and no one really giving to the children, right? If the children are our future, we should be giving to our children constantly. It shouldn't be about what the other person got and what the next person got. It should always be being a teacher, being a administrator. It should always be about the best situation for the children.
Kids, yep.
You know what I mean? And when it stops being about that, it becomes about the best situation for you as an individual. That's when we're not worried about the kids anymore. So, you know, everything that we're doing in the city, every group that's here in the city helping the children, we need to come together, right? And that way we don't have 3 or 4 groups doing the exact same thing.
right.
Everybody
But
gets
we
laid
need
on
to
the-
build that partnership foundation.
Absolutely, but we all get on-
particularly right to keep on track.
We
for
get
these
on the
things.
highway and we ride down the highway, and if everybody's in the same lane, that's how accidents happen.
Right.
If everybody's in their own individual lane doing what they're supposed to do, traffic flows smoothly. So that's what I think. That's how I think we should change things. But you know, that's just me.
I wanted to just mention before we go about Carol. You said not being represented, Chester not being represented, and I want to speak on behalf of I work with an environmental justice organization. I've been fighting environmental justice before I got with this organization when I was with my union. So it's not new work to me. But Joan and I are currently on the Solid Waste Management Plan Advisory Committee. And what I want to
For the county.
And what I want to explain about that is I believe I am the only Black person on.
I think Will is on. Isn't Will on?
He's on the Solid Waste Authority board.
Right, and Tom Nixon has been coming to the meetings, but it's
Well,
possible that you're the only one. I didn't notice. I'm
Could
sorry
be
to say.
the last meeting I went. I know there's
There
4
aren't very-
different.
I think,
there's
we're
4
the only
different
ones
committees.
from Chester. That's true.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll figure that out. But
Yeah.
what I want to talk about is the fact that Chester really needs to research these boards in the county, because there are people on boards who are making decisions for the county, which includes Chester, and we don't always have a voice. So, for example, the last meeting that Joan and I were on, this committee is coming up with the 10-year plan of where the trash goes in our county. And the last meeting we were at, we were working on the different principles for this plan, and I saw where there was equity and inclusion. And sometimes you have to be careful when you do DEI work, diversity, equity, and inclusion, because those are just terms. Oftentimes, the actual work is not getting done, and people are just using those terms to fit a quota. So we brought up having where does environmental justice stand? Because there are 17 principles of environmental justice, and it includes economic justice, air quality justice. It includes a whole lot of different issues. We had to go back and forth with explaining why having environmental justice as a principle is important. And I say this because, again, if we're not there to sit on these committees and sit on these boards, then the decisions are being made for us. And I have reached out to various people to ask if they wanted to sit on this committee. I've even reached out. Our city hall has been reached out to. Our local government has been reached out. And it's very embarrassing when I'm in meetings and they bring up Chester and they say, well, no one has answered their phone call, or they're not returning the phone call, or not responding to my emails. And this is embarrassing. Joan, especially if I'm the only Black person in the room and I'm in a room full of white people,
Yes.
and they're saying no one from Chester, that makes me cringe.
Me too. Me too.
It makes me cringe. So I want to encourage residents to research different boards in this county and be a representative of Chester. Apply for the boards, be a representative of Chester, so that you can have your voice heard and there will be representation.
Yeah, I want to say amen. And don't worry if you don't think you know enough. If it's a subject that interests you, you may or may not be selected. But if you show your interest, you can start learning more, right? So we're on this work. Tonight, there's actually going to be a 6 o'clock Zoom open meeting to be a question and answer period about this whole 10-year solid waste plan. It starts also with learning more about things like recycling and trash and stuff
Zero
like that, and
waste.
sorting, all that stuff. I hope it's on the website, but if people need to get some more information, I can give you my email. I don't know if that's allowable here, but but maybe they can let you know.
But it's
Put your
really
email up
important.
anytime you want to.
Yeah,
For us to get
broadfieldje@gmail.com. Broadfield as in Broad Street, Field of Grass. broadfieldje@gmail.com. I'm happy to answer anyone who would like the link to the Zoom tonight. 6 o'clock. About planning for zero waste, or as close as we can get to it in 10 years.
Because again, the trash comes to Chester, so we need to be involved in these committees.
I think Joan also brought up a great point, which was what I was going to say, but she already nailed it, about the interest
Yes.
too, because it's easy for us to be like, but certain topics or subjects, not that no one may not care, but it may not be their field of expertise. It may not be an interest of theirs. So when we talk about violence, you may have some that come out for that. You may have some that focus on education, some that's big on housing, some that's big on jobs. So I feel like, where for me, everything's an interest of mine. You know, everybody's different. But I think it's, as people, you know, learn more, or they see more, they would then want to take a little bit interest of, well, what is they talking about on the environmental side? They may not be as involved, but they may still be woke and aware,
Right.
to still, you know, if they needed to come out and support, or if they have to speak out against it, or like when we had the Delcora meeting, we don't really have many people on some of these meetings that you're talking about, But that day, because it got put out, they came.
Yep.
It may not be something they know about, but they know it's interested enough for them to know that it's either we speak out right now, or we're
Right.
going to be doomed.
That's right.
So the more you guys continue to raise awareness, they will hear about it. I mean, for me canvassing, I know a lot of people ask me, where was my standpoint on the incinerator? Believe it or not. In a lot of areas you wouldn't even think, a lot of people you wouldn't even think would even consider. So they're hearing about it.
That's right.
You know, they know about
That's
it.
right.
And they ask me, what is your standpoint on incineration? And I told them that piece. They said, well, what about the one here? So, and then there were some people thought I was already on the council member. And they was like, well, you brought it. I was like, no, I didn't. I wasn't even, I'm over here fighting against it. So, you know, that's when they were like, oh, okay. So they hearing it. I just think that everybody knows their lane. And it's a process, and people feels like what may be their lane, what may not. There's a lot of things that I'd be like, hey, come out, that some people who may, you know, focus on one thing may not really be as in tuned in. It's not that they don't care, it's not that they don't know, but I think Joan hit the nail when she said the interest part. And once we can keep raising that awareness, you might find a person or two. Obviously, I'm canvassing, coming across a few of them, so I feel like the more that we let them know on the ground what you guys do, I think you would then get them more involved. So you might have one or two other people to speak out.
Yeah, building relationships.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm an example because I'm involved in a lot of things, and clearly I don't always know what you know what it's about, but I learn as I go along the way. And just to share a little bit more information on the environmental piece is that the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, which is the department, the agency in Pennsylvania that makes the laws to preserve our air and our water. They have determined that Chester is what you call an environmental justice community. And what that means is that there are at least 30% of the people who live here or an environmental justice community are living at or below what the government defines as the poverty level. And that 20% of people say that they are BIPOC, which is Black, Indigenous, people of color. Why that's important is because if our agency that's put in place to protect our water and our air is labeling our community as an environmental justice community, meaning that we need support and help, we cannot continue to have harmful industries coming into our communities. And they should be able to help fight us, not fight us, but fight with us to make sure that this does not continue.
Right.
There are two, I want to talk about two pieces of legislation or acts. One is the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act that says that no government entity can involve themselves in some type of discriminatory behavior. If we're an environmental justice community, environmental justice means that we are experiencing harmful injustice from the environment.
Yeah.
We should be able to use Title VI, or we should be able to use the Pennsylvania Environmental Protection Act that says that all Pennsylvanians have the right to breathe clean air. However, when we try to use those two things, the system makes it very hard for us to win because it says that you have to prove the intent, that it's intentionally being done to harm people. So this is just something that I just wanted to share and help educate our community on, that we are continuing to fight a system that is all interconnected.
And so how do we do that?
Communication. People learn new ideas, share those new ideas with the people underneath of them. I remember when I woke up, right, and the fellow was telling me, you know, oh yeah, you just waking up. I said, man, you should applaud me that I even have the energy to tell you, or the effort to tell you that I'm just waking up. Now you should explain it to me because you know how to fish. You know how to do all this stuff. I don't know how to do all this stuff. You should want to teach me how to go fish so I can bring fish back for my village. You being the only person that's a fisherman in this block, that's not working. You feel me? Because now everyone's coming to you for information, and you don't rightly want to share it with everybody. So when you get information and you see that improvement is needed, you have to share that information, right? We keep sharing the information. Pass it back. You pass it back. You pass it back to the point where everybody now has the information. Now we can move forward. But until we do that and do it effectively, like consistently, like don't miss it. You can't miss a day. You got to do it every day, right? We're at the building, the foundation of this city right now. Everything is falling apart. This city was a great city. My grandma told me, oh, it was a movie theater over here. This was over here. This store was here. This store was here. And all of that stuff left. And then the city was left for us to try to devour. And we tried to devour it, literally. Like I was a part of that generation that didn't care, right? That brought on that next generation that absolutely doesn't care. That brought in another generation that don't give a rat's. You feel me?
I do think they care. I think they don't know how to start showing they care because they get slapped down a lot.
I think
that's been my experience.
There have been people. So my excuse isn't that we're getting slapped down. My excuse is that my reason is that we just don't care, right? If someone gives you information and has that information laid out on the table and you walk past it every day, it's not because they're slapping you to walk the other way. You literally don't care about what's on the table. So
that's true. That's true. You don't care about what's on the table because you don't believe the table has anything to offer you.
Right. So if you don't
for
know
whatever
it,
reason,
if you don't know it, then
right.
you don't care about it. Once
right.
you know about it, then you're like, oh
right.
wow, that's something
right.
I should have been known about that. Yeah, we should have told you, but we didn't. Right? Your old head should have told you, but they didn't. Your uncle should have told you, but he didn't. So we understand where we are now. Let's move forward with
right.
it. Right.
Amen.
We also have to know the history too. I think it's important that if you don't know your history, then you don't know where you're coming from, and so you can't know where you're going. So the history of Chester, why things are the way they are in the beginning, is because white flight happened. So during the Great Migration, the Southern Migration, when Black people were moving up north, as my grandfather called it, the land of milk and honey, because there was supposed to be so much more opportunity. So when my family migrated here, and then you had World War II, so people were leaving their homes, leaving the good jobs that they had, gone off to war. More Black people started working and getting more money, and then being able to buy homes in areas that were predominantly Black. And so once the schools started to desegregate, that is when Chester was known as Little Birmingham, or the Birmingham of the North, when the riots were happening because of the integration. So when the white people said, okay, this is enough, I don't want to be around the Black people, our neighborhoods are getting taken control of, the residents left, the businesses left. And then what happened was the communities that were predominantly Black were considered dangerous and harmful. Right. And so that made Chester ripe, because the system, this is all based on white supremacy, patriarchy, colonization, and capitalism, which is greed. Right. So with all of those things happened, Chester was left to fend on its own. And then when you have a government who continues
to pull and
to extract
and not put anything in,
to extract the resources, that the little resources that were left, this is what you have over years. And you know, Joan, because you've been here and you've seen it. You know the Necrellis, you know the John J. McClures, who stopped Black people from moving into the rest of Delaware County. He hindered Black people having access to the greater wealth of this community. If white people were found out that they had rented to Black renters, there was a lot of threats going on.
Well, you remember the housing thing in Fulcroft back in the 50s and 60s. It was not
Share
good.
that, because I don't.
Well, there was a family that tried to move in that was attacked, and they had to leave because, and when Ed and I were looking for an apartment, we were coming from Chester County. Ed was my husband, who was African American, and when we were looking for an apartment, we looked for an apartment in Middletown Township, and we were welcomed. Sure, you'd probably love this one out in Chester Township in the Black neighborhood. Well, we did, because we didn't care that much, but we knew we'd also gotten housing restrictions in Chester County too. So this is nothing new. This is not that old. There is still some of that going on. And it is true that we all, sadly, don't know what we perpetuate in that whole thing when we don't learn more and fight it. And we don't have to fight it with guns. I'm nonviolent activist. We can use our
on the
words.
MLK
We can
side.
use our ears to
Malcolm.
hear.
Say no.
We can use our ears to hear. We can use our voices to speak, and we can help change things. Right?
Yes. Each one, teach one.
You
and when
guys
know
have
better, you
such
do better.
powerful voices. I cannot tell you. I look forward to hearing more from you and win, win, win.
Yeah, no. I'm looking forward to it all with everybody, honestly.
I know you're probably looking for it to be over so you can just like rest, right?
Yeah, a little
I
bit
told
of
you
that
now was
too.
the time to rest.
But that's
Till
I was
August.
about to say, but honestly, that's really for now.
Right.
Because the day you get sworn in, they kind
over.
of keep you
It's over.
a little bit in there.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
so
right.
it's not like you just, all right, guys, I'm going back home with them. Now y'all go home, but they gonna keep me there for about the rest of the day.
Listen, I want to thank y'all for taking the time out. And again, the station is here for y'all,
Thank you.
right? And at any time you want to come through, you want to talk about, the things that you want to see different, you want people to tune in, we got to do it. We got to get it done.
Thank you so much.
All right? All right. Anything else before we go?
We're going to end cmpradio.net. Go ahead and finish it off, everybody. Thank you once again for having me today. And I'm going to be out there. You'll catch me out in the community. If you need me, reach out to me at Carol@Kazeem for PA.com. That's it. Go ahead, P. Drop the bomb and end it off.
CMPRadio.net, man. It's your boy, Uncle P, man. I want to thank our guests today. We had Mayor John Linder stop through. The people from, where are they from again? Because I don't be knowing everything, right? The New Pennsylvania Project. And we have Carol Kazeem, Kearni Warren, and Miss Joan Bradford, man. I want to thank everyone for stopping through here today and giving us some good energy, man. You already know, man. CMPRadio.net. Project Engage, giving a voice to the voiceless. This is the beginning of all that stuff. And also understand, no one is going to give you the education you need to overthrow them. You got to look for that information yourself. You got to challenge yourself every day. Remember, be fruitful, right? Give good energy, not bad energy. And keep all them ugly people away from you, man. The CMPRadio.net, man. This is the Cultivating Mature Positivity podcast. And we're out of here, man.